For today's cup of coffee,
This
one's going to be kind of poignant.
Baked potatoes and bacon. Is that poignant?
That's not poignant. That was this supper. No, but it was a matter that horror fans are very sad to hear about the passing of Shelley Duvall.
R.I.P. Shelley Duvall. He needs me, he needs me, he needs me, he needs me, he needs me.
And that was from her as far as Popeye, correct?
Yeah.
Where
she played olive oil.
I never watched that.
It had, what was
Robin
that?
Williams.
Yeah.
Well, it was just, I'm sorry, but it's like live action comic strips and cartoons and stuff. So I'm one of these that sort of is hard for me.
Yeah. But with that song, people just find it really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, and she was not a good singer. But it worked for that scene.
Sure.
And people like it because it's just, Well,
in the cartoon, olive oil was not, as far as her voice and different things like that. That was the whole thing. Here, she was this wormy-looking little whatever that they were fighting over.
Wormy.
Yeah.
Wormy.
And so it was, it was a cartoon from a different time.
Yeah.
And it makes me, I don't understand what's going on.
Cartoon.
Well, I don't understand what's going on with a lot of stuff, but trying to judge the past by today's standards or lack thereof, you're always going to get an erroneous answer. I mean, it just can't be done.
Yeah.
That is one of those apples equals oranges. And it just doesn't compute. And people are breaking other people's brains by cognitive dissonance.
They are.
Instead of trying to find a fullness of an understanding of why people did what they did and how we can prevent similar events from happening again. And it's like, no, we're doing the lather, rinse, repeat thing on a lot of shit.
Truly.
I don't get that. But anyhow, from dailymail.com, she was 75 years old, and this was reported by Rachel Bowman, and it's July 11th of 2024, and I actually heard about it on X.
Okay.
Because I subscribe to quite a few people that are other Halloween and horror aficionados, and so to, thank somebody, it's like, wow, I didn't know she passed.
Yeah, everybody found out today.
And of course,
it's all over TikTok right now, and people, seriously, she had a big fan base.
Yeah.
People adored her.
Yeah.
And people are pissed off the way that she was treated on The Shining.
Right. And that was the thing.
Because that's what really broke her.
That was the role that defined her for a lot of us, was in The Shining.
Uh-huh.
And that was Stanley Kubrick, and it was from 1980, and the character's name was Wendy Torrance.
Mm-hmm.
And there was always something about Shelley Duvall that was so remarkably fragile.
Yeah. But she was just a sweetheart. Seriously, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that she
usually equates to some fragility.
Sometimes. And I think that she had done shows for children and different things like that.
Yeah. That was like her main field. That was the best field for her, was the children's shows and movies and stuff like that.
And doing something positive.
Uh-huh.
And you were the one who had told me quite a few years ago, as far as that, her role in The Shining, that the way that Kubrick treated her as an actress and as a person did possibly cause more of a psychological issue.
Yes. I mean, her hair she was so stressed out and upset that her hair was falling out. There is footage of her showing Stanley Kubrick being like, my hair's falling out, in clumps. Look at this. And him just blowing her off.
What exactly happened that caused her that much stress that he was doing? Because I know that
he was keeping people from talking to her. He was verbally abusing her. I cannot remember everything offhand, but it was a lot of mental abuse.
What did that have to do with trying to get her more into the mindset of the character?
Yes, but it was a very toxic environment for her.
Oh, I'm sure that it was. Well, it's Hollywood. It's all toxic.
And there's footage. He was not kind to her.
And
was not empathetic or sympathetic to the way that she was telling him some of this stuff.
Right.
That was going on.
And I think that's what happens a lot of times with some of these directors. They have
He
this
isolated her a lot in that movie.
Of what they want to produce on film. And it's like the actors sort of become props themselves.
No, that's exactly what happens. It's like they're no longer a human being to some directors. It's just...
And then they become product.
Yeah.
After the movie is released. So it's like, I can't imagine anybody wanting to go into that lifestyle by choice. I really can't.
Have you seen the movie Maxine?
No.
It just came out.
I heard somebody else talking about it, though. And so it's like, I may and I may not on that. It was
part of the Pearl and Pearl trilogy.
Okay, yes, I do remember talking to somebody online, and I'm like, that's one of those that you and I will have to watch at separate viewings because we don't watch things like that together.
No,
because I'm old school.
But I did watch Pearl, at least enough clips that I might as well have watched the full movie.
Yeah, it's just one of those. Kid and I, those are boundaries. We have very clear-cut boundaries on certain things we will not watch in each other's company.
I don't remember her name. The person who played Pearl and Maxine.
Okay.
I don't remember her name, but she did well in those movies with those roles.
Okay.
Maxine was a little lackluster in the ending and stuff like that. One of the iconic quotes is, "Why are you leaving me? If I didn't do anything wrong, I don't understand. I thought you liked me."
Yeah.
Just that psychotic break and she was that character was desperate.
Yeah. Well, I
and
think
unhinged
that happens
greatly.
When you do have people that their sole basis of existence is how other people view them.
It's not how other people viewed her. It's that she wanted off the farm.
Right.
And she was trapped.
Right. But I'm still trying to tie this back into our subject of Shelley Duvall rather than being all over the page.
But that's the thing. Shelley Duvall was sort of trapped on that film and isolated in a lot of ways that Pearl was.
Well,
sort
the
of, kind of.
Is within the character and The Shining, and I'm hoping everybody has seen it. If you have not seen it, go and watch it. Because Kubrick was brilliant at what he did. I'm not saying that his methods were correct, but that film is just... I mean, it's a classic. Mm-hmm. It is just a total classic. And I am so sorry that she had the experience that she did during that.
It's like justice for Shelley.
And it's like Jack Nicholson, of course, you know, he's another one. You don't know. It's like, is it acting or is that just how he is?
I think there's a part of him that is like that.
Yeah.
That's like... Well, going on to another actress, Angelina Jolie in Girl Interrupted. You've heard me talk about that movie.
Yeah, but I've not watched it, so it's lost reference on me.
Like, that was more of how Angelina Jolie sort of viewed herself as.
Okay.
Which was unhinged. Some actors and actresses are just...
Well, there is a style of acting where the person, it's like they become the person. It's method acting. Yeah. Is what it's called. That they try to truly become the character. Mm-hmm. That was just, you know, and I'm thinking, I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing.
Some people say, like, that method acting is a way of channeling.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. And that these people, to stay in character, that they do that for the duration of the filming.
Oh, yeah.
That they never go out of character.
And sometimes it breaks them.
I think that it can break them.
Because then they lose who, like, in a way, they do lose who they are.
Yes. They have
Or
taken
actually are.
on a foreign persona.
Yeah.
And so I can see how somebody, if there was an issue, could easily get lost going down that rabbit hole. Now, this was one of the things that I thought was odd, the way that this was written. And it said that she eventually made an appearance on an episode of Dr. Phil in 2016, where she spoke about dealing with mental illness during the time of the show. I don't know exactly which show that it was.
Dr. Phil.
And it says that the show's host was subsequently criticized for what many saw as his exploitation of the performer.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was honestly very pitiful.
So her life partner, or whatever, Gilroy was his name, had chimed in the Times interview, saying that her 2016 interview with Dr. Phil was support to help her career, but it ended up being damning and made her appear odd. Well, she was odd.
Yeah.
You could look at the woman and there was something that was odd. And so I think it's funny that here he is sort of riding in on her, fame. Mm-hmm. Or he wouldn't have gotten the interview with the Times.
And yeah.
Lambasting Dr. Phil.
But I don't know if Odd... I don't know. I don't think Odd... And this is just me assuming his thought process. But it's like odd ain't exactly the... Making people think that she's odd isn't exactly the right term for that.
I think
it would be like unhinged.
I think it was one of those... Again, it goes back to the stigma of mental illness.
Yeah.
And, as far as Dr. Phil exploiting her, well, I don't think that he made her come on the show. And it has been such an interesting thing to observe, even from the time that I was small, where you didn't talk about mental illness. And to now where people are trying to break through the stigma. Mm-hmm. And to sit there and go, yes, I have this, whatever it is. And it's just a difference. And if somebody knows what they're dealing with, then they can approach an individual differently. If it's like somebody that has depression, I've always been very open because I am, first and foremost, is breaking stigmas. I've had depressive disorder since I was 12. Mm-hmm. The only reason I say that is hoping that other people can sit there and go, hey, I got that too. Yeah. And to go and get help, because I have, since I was 19 years old, been in and out of therapy. Because it helps if you get the right therapist.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that I have a wonderful therapist at this point. She's the best one that I have ever had. We don't want people sitting and suffering in silence. And for so many years, that's what people that had mental health problems did. And so, I know that the paparazzi, it's been years ago. Because as Shelley aged, like everybody does, and the paparazzi tries to get the absolutely worst pictures of a human being to spread them across the globe. Mm-hmm. The most unflattering. It's
not right.
Paparazzi are disgusting human beings. They're
absolutely
just leeches.
Yeah. They're scum.
Mm-hmm. They really are. They not only sell their souls, they try to sell other people's souls. Mm-hmm. And I think at that point, there were some times that that the mental health issues appeared to be more exacerbated than at others, which that happens because you can cycle in and out. Sometimes you're doing all right and sometimes you ain't.
Yeah.
So, God love her. She was such an iconic horror movie actress in The Shining. And I think that anybody that saw that movie, I mean, like I said, there was always such a fragility about her.
Mm-hmm. And it's sad.
It is. And I hope she found peace and rest.
I hope she did too.
Because there's worse things than death.
There was a compilation of her on TikTok being like, hello, I'm Shelley Duvall. Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall. All the times that she said, hello, I'm Shelley Duvall. And that final one where she's older, she's in the car and she's smiling. She's like, hello. In that same voice, I'm Shelley Duvall.
Right.
It was so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that was at the beginning, was at the intro of the children's shows that she was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was a true passion of hers.
Mm-hmm.
So at least the mental illness, from the way that this article is written, did not stop her from doing things that she loved.
Yeah. Because I don't know much about the woman other than, like, the energy off of her. Yes, she was fragile, but she was a genuinely kind, caring person.
She was almost one of those people like you wanted to protect her.
Yeah. Yeah. Just an absolute sweetheart that, is fragile.
That she was just, that there was a delicacy about her. Not as in eating, it was delicate. Had to, because sometimes our accent can get the better of us. But like I said, there was just something about her that was very endearing, very fragile, and just hope, like I said, just wish her peace.
Yeah,
and her family peace, and those of us, like I said, that enjoy that work, and just to say a prayer for her.
God has finally brought her home, and she's able to just rest.
Yes. Yes, and especially as far as to have the mental health issues and to be one of the first that spoke openly and honestly about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, as far as them accusing Dr. Phil of whatever, I mean, I'm sure Dr. Phil has done a lot of different things, but I don't think he's ever forced anybody to go on his show and talk about anything.
No, he's never forced anyone, but has he certainly taken advantage of some people and exploited them? Oh yeah, that's the whole show.
Well, yes, it's like, what do you consider exploitation in certain things? If you have someone that has odd behavior and you're like, hey, will you come on my show and show the world your odd behavior? And they say yes, how is that exploitive?
And some of those methods, like send them to the ranch. That ranch.
Now, I don't know anything about
that ranch.
The ranch
was a wilderness program, which is very abusive, it can be very abusive, very dangerous for those people.
Well, for some of them, yes, it can, and then that's I do understand that was sort of within that boot camp training thing. That went on for a period of time with certain ones, and the field of mental health is constantly evolving. And trying to find, different techniques that work. I mean, if you've got somebody that they're given the option, here, you go through boot camp or you go to juvie, which one would you pick?
Does boot camp have proper medical care?
Yes.
The wilderness camps did not.
Well, theoretically, all of them supposed to have proper medical care. That was a huge liability, and I can't imagine Dr. Phil being that stupid, but other people have surprised me by being remarkably stupid. But within the boot camp programs, it was a matter of trying to instill some self-discipline.
Yes.
And this is something that has been used in many cultures for thousands of years. But if there are other problems that need to be addressed, then that can very much be abusive. and it can be damaging to some people. You have to sit and properly screen the individual to find out what is wrong with the individual, and then you have to sort of help them decide what type of treatment is going to work for them best. That's what should be done. That is not necessarily what is being done.
Yeah. That certainly ain't what's being done right now.
And we've talked about this. We were talking about this with our buddy Omega earlier today, as far as we need long stay mental health facilities again.
Yes.
That are not abusing the people, because God knows, and this is personal in our lives, as far as what they're doing in the United States today with people who have severe mental health issues because of lack of resources. They're putting them in jails and prisons, and these people are being victimized. They're being victimized by other inmates, and they're being victimized by officers, and they're being victimized by the fucking system.
Yeah.
And for every blood dollar that TDOC, that's the Tennessee Department of Corrections, has made off of the families, may they choke on it.
And
every
all
dime.
the other correctional facilities.
Because the United States has made an industry out of incarceration. In a lot of ways, they have made industries out of mental illness.
Oh, yeah.
Which it's big business, but is it truly bringing wholeness and healing to individuals? You know, and we have seen how the mental health system over the past several years has been horrifically abused. And is because when you have someone that has a mental health issue, you know that they're already vulnerable. And part of that vulnerability includes suggestibility. And that is one of the main things that they train you on before you go and work with other people, to not create a false. That's why you had to have proper, healthy boundaries as far as the patient-client relationship. Because some of these people, if they have never had anybody give a damn about them, they can fixate on counselors, therapists, whoever.
Yeah.
You gotta squash that.
Yeah.
First off, sit there and go, no. This is a working relationship. That's it.
Yeah.
And it sounds cold, but that's the only way that can be done.
Right.
But as far as implanting and suggesting things, is that going on today? Oh, hell yes, it is. I have heard too many people say, oh, my therapist told me that this is what's going on. And that they suggested methods that have totally and completely, I'm trying not to get, I'm getting escalated highly, because some of these people are destroying people's lives.
Oh, yeah.
And the lives of the families that are associated with the individuals that went to these people for help. That's a serious, serious thing to be in that profession or any of these other professions. Oh, but God love her, Shelley Duvall. And it was this bittersweet thing.
It was.
And it said that she had passed in her sleep. And they said it's complications from diabetes.
That's a peaceful way to go.
That's a blessed way to go.
Yeah.
To just go to sleep and wake up in heaven.
And I hope she rests in peace.
God rest her soul.
People are like, oh, rest in peace. No, truly.
May
she rest in peace.
Yes. Yes. Final thoughts.
I hope she's happy.
Yeah.
Like up there in heaven.
Yes. And that she has joy.
Yeah.
And that nobody can ever take advantage of her again. Nobody can ever abuse her again. None of that. So, if you've had experiences with paranormal or supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, tinfoil hats, if you would like to put in the comment section what Shelley Duvall, some of her work meant to you and stuff, please do that. Please, because that helps everybody when people share their comments. I learn stuff.
Yeah.
And because we have a wonderful community. It may be small, pirate crew, but we powerful. We're powerful.
Yeah. And if you like this video, leave a comment, like, share, click that notification button, even though it don't do much, but I think it doesn't do much.
We cuss too much for it to do anything.
We actually did good this episode.
I don't know.
Click the notification button. Don't know if it does much, but give it a ding. It likes the affection. Check her out on BitChute and Rumble if you're not already viewing her on those platforms. Rolanda's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Check her out on X, previously known as Twitter. Rolanda COCWS. It's like a radio station call sign. So yeah, it's pretty cool on there. She posts some cool shit. Reposts some cool shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, BitChute, since they went to the new format, I don't know what has happened with it, but as far as the views on the videos, not that it matters, but they have gone, I'm getting like a quarter of the views that it was. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what's happened to that. I don't know. Maybe I just had a hell of a lot of bots. I don't know. Maybe. It's okay.
Yeah.
Even if you're a bot, guess what? We love you. If you're a bot, be a good bot.
Yeah.
Treat other people the way that you would like to be treated. Mm-hmm. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.